Okay, so today I want to go over how to use the site Monday.com. So pull up the website here, and over here on the left-hand column, under here are the templates that we are going to use for right now. So we have a buyer template if they're financing, a buyer template if they're paying cash, and then a listing template. So let's close that up. So to start a new property, under the boards right here, you're just going to hit the plus sign, and we're going to choose from a template, and then see more templates. And up here at the top, we have the Hayward Team templates. You don't have to worry about any of these other templates on this left-hand side. We're just going to use ones from the Hayward Team. So expand that, and we're going to use the buyer template. Hit use, and then I've made a reminder in here to rename this based on the property address. So let's say, for example, that we got this property under contract that we just wrote an offer up on. Type in the property address and then hit create board. Now, up here at the top, I would like for you to put in the buyer's name, the seller's name, the listing agent, the lender that the buyer is going to be using, and the title company information. That way, when we pull up a file, we have all of that information right in front of us and we don't have to dig through anything. Then I'm going to collapse all of these and then open them up one by one as we go through things. That way I can talk about kind of what I want. So I've kind of broken up everything from when you go under contract all the way until after closing. So we have items that need to be addressed when the property initially goes under contract, after the binder deposit has been delivered, during the inspection repair process, lender updates, 2 weeks prior to closing, there's items that need to be done. 1 week leading up to the closing date, there's items that need to be done. The day of closing, and then post-closing. So let's expand initially when we go under contract. Over here in this column is going to be the person that's going to be assigned to that task. Typically, a lot of these items are going to be admin responsibilities, and there's going to be a few items that are going to be agent responsibility. So depending on which agent is working in that file, then we would change, who's going to be responsible for that, whether it be Bronca, Jordan, or Anna. So initially, the admin is going to email the listing agent to verify important dates of the contract. And if you see right here, this conversation piece with numbers in it, that means that there's more directions that need to be followed for this step right here. So you'll expand that. It's going to pull up this box, and then under here it will have what needs to be done. So I've made a note that we need to use the email template, and if you go to the next tab up here at the top, info boxes, this right here is the email template that needs to be used. So you would just copy and paste everything that's right here, and then put that in an email format, of course changing all of the bolded information. And anytime that we want to make changes to something, reword something, add something, delete something, we're going to come to this format right here and change it on here, and that way we know going forward that this is what we're going to use. That way nothing is saved on anyone's individual computer, it's going to be saved onto this program. So this is pretty self-explanatory. You would then just go through and change all of the dates to make sure that they match up with what the contract states. And then after you've done that, you would then just say done and the day that you've completed it. Then the next step, you're going to verify all addendums with the contract and any BHG required forms that are required with the purchase and sale agreement. Then you will email the buyer a list of the next steps along with the contract package. And if you'll notice again, there's a conversation piece that goes with this. You'll want to use email template, and this is the email template that we're going to use. Change out any of the bolded information. Well, not all of the bold information, but the important dates right there, that front part. And I have recently changed this email with some updated information with home inspectors, insurance companies, and I even included the electrical companies to have the utilities turned on depending on which county the buyer is purchasing in. Then email title company with lender info and obtain any required buyer info sheet. Again, there was a conversation piece that goes with this. Use the email template, and this is the email template that we're going to use. And I want to point out that I've changed this template to ask the title company that they send over any buyer information sheet that they need to be completed. And if they do have one, some of the title companies don't require that. A lot of them do, just so they have the buyer information, like contact information, email address, things like that. Get that from them, and then you'll email that over to the buyer to have them complete it. Then you'll email the lender a copy of the fully executed purchase and sale agreement and the title company info as well. Again, conversation piece, use the email template, and this is the email template right here. And then you're going to want to insert title company contact info and point of contact. That way we can connect the title company and the lender together so that the lender can reach out to the title company and request all the information that they need. And again, once these items have been addressed, just mark that they've been done and the date that they've been done. Then the coordination of the binder deposit. That will be something that the agent is going to be responsible for in case the buyer cannot drop it off at the title company. And then same thing with the home inspection as well. Agent will contact the home inspector, see what availability they have, and then figure out a date and a time that works best with the agent's schedule and the home inspector's schedule. And then they'll set up that appointment. Once we know the date and time of the home inspection, then the admin is going to email the home inspector the property info along with the buyer information. And this is the information that they're going to use, that I want you guys to use. Property address, buyer's name, buyer phone number, buyer email, and then be sure to include which type of inspections we're going to have and verify with the buyer that we know which inspections are going to be having the home inspector complete. Then you're going to want to schedule the home inspection through showing time. Typically they're going to be about 3.5 hours. And also at this time, if the home has an HOA, Then email listing agent and ask for a copy of the CC&R, which is the Community Covenants and Restrictions, and HOA contact info. That way we can get a copy of that and send it over to the buyer. That way they can review it during those first 10 days. And if they have any questions, they can address them at that time. And then you're going to want to just mark when you've done those items and the date that you've completed those items. So we'll minimize or collapse this group. Next is going to be after the binder deposit has been delivered. Typically the title company will then email the agent. They might not copy the assistant on their email. If that's not the case, we'll forward you the binder deposit verification. Send it to the buyer if they did not include the buyer on that email. And it's a very simple, attaches a copy of the binder deposit being held at the title company. We've also forwarded a copy of it to the lender. So most likely they're going to email it to the listing agent as well. Again, just check the email to see who the title company has sent a copy of it to. Send it to the lender and then save a copy of it in Dropbox and in .loop. And let's collapse this group. The inspection and the repairs. Once the inspection, this is after the inspection has been done. So once the inspection report has been sent to the agents, save a copy of it in Dropbox. Then I will review the inspection report and email you a list of the repairs that the buyer is requesting if there are any. You'll then write up the repair request and send it to the buyer to sign. When the repair request has been signed by the buyer, the admin is going to email a copy of it to the listing agent along with a copy of the inspection report, so that way they know exactly what repairs we're requesting. After you, and there's going to be an email template that goes with that, attaches a copy of the buyer repair request as well as a copy of the home inspection for reference. Please note, according to the contract, we have 7 days to come to an agreement. Our 7 days to negotiate repairs will end on, and then you'll just count out 7 days and make that very clear in the email to the listing agent so they know when to get a response to us. If on day 5 you have not heard back, or we have not heard back from the listing agent about which repairs the sellers will do, then we're going to need to send a follow-up email at day 5 asking if they have an update for us. So after you initially send the repair request to the listing agent, on this next section, you're going to want to put in when those 5 days are up. That way it will remind you when it's due. Once agreement on repairs has been made, inform the lender that the appraisal can be ordered. Then 10 days after we agree upon repairs, email the listing agent and ask for a status update on the repairs. Once the repairs have been completed, ask for receipts from the listing agent, and then send receipts for repairs to buyer and save them in Dropbox. Then you can ask the buyer if they want to have a reinspection done. If they do, then just coordinate that with all parties, my schedule, the inspector's schedule, and confirm it through the listing agent. I know Dan charges $75. I'm not sure how much Austin charges for a reinspect. Then these are going to be everything we need from the lender. So 5 days after we go under contract, you'll put the date here to remind yourself in 5 days to check with them to inform that the initial loan application has been completed. Once the lender is verified that the initial loan application has been completed, inform the listing agent that loan application has been made according to contract. 2 days after initial notification of appraisal green light, follow up with the lender that it's been ordered. Inform the listing agent that the appraisal has been ordered, and then 3 days after that, follow up with the listing agent again and confirm whether or not the appraiser has reached out to the listing agent to confirm an appraisal date. If no appraisal has been scheduled, follow up with the lender and inform the listing agent on the status update. 14 days after the initial contract date, ask the lender for an update on loan status, and over here you can put the date that you need to remind yourself to do that. Same thing at 21 days. And then right here, you're going to also, when it goes under contract, put the initial loan approval deadline. 2 weeks out from closing, we are going to send the listing agent a helpful buyer information sheet. And this is only going to be on a property that is not a foreclosure, that the seller, I should say, is an actual real person. Use this email template, and I will also add in here the sheet that we need completed. Then email the title company to see what available times they have for closing. And then just know that I would prefer mid-morning closings. Coordinate a time with the title company and add that time to my calendar. And then if the contract includes a home warranty, email the listing agent and offer to order it. Send confirmation to the title company. 1 week out from closing, let's schedule the final walkthrough to take place right before closing. Verify all required docs are in dotloop and ready to be submitted. Order the welcome home sign and have it delivered to the office if the buyer is purchasing that property as a primary residence. 3 days prior to closing, email buyer to ensure utilities have been turned on, and there's going to be an email template that goes with that. And just a friendly reminder, if you haven't already done so, please contact the service provider for the utility company, have them turned on in your name starting on the closing date. Below are the service providers for your home. And then insert electric, water, sewer, gas companies and contact info, and you can get that information from the buyer's Q&A worksheet. 2 days prior to closing, send the buyer the title company address and just a reminder to bring their ID. And then you'll fill in the bold information right here. And then 2 days prior to closing, email the title company and ask for the buyer's closing disclosure if they haven't already sent it. Then the day of closing, I will scan all the docs to you and forward them to you. So then you'll upload those into Dropbox and dotloop and then submit that file for admin approval. Post-closing, update Zillow to reflect the past sale. Email buyer 1 week after closing asking for a review, and this is going to be the email template that we're going to use. Then 3 weeks out, once we've closed on the property, you should be able to pull that property back up in MLS, look at the tax info, and see that new buyer's name listed on that. If it's not, then the city has not updated the tax records yet, so we'll probably have to then push this out a little bit longer, but usually within 3 weeks the information is updated. And I have included the email template that you'll use for that, and I've given links for Duval, St. Johns, and Clay County, where they can file for homestead exemption. And homestead exemption is only going to be for buyers that are purchasing it as their primary residence, so no investors can get a homestead exemption. Then you'll check the review sites to see if a review was written, maybe about a week after you initially send the review email out. And if they did, then you'll just inform the agent so that we can then send them a personal note. That's it for now on this, but I plan on updating it if there's things that we want to add to our process, and then having the same format for listings, listing out everything that we're going to do for a listing, and even add property management into this as well. But this is just kind of a start to get us going, that we were all on the same page. But I think the key thing is to make sure that everyone is assigned to the correct task. And then just to save me asking you if you've done it, if you just change the status and let me know, you can, I think you could add notes and things like that to it. And then certain things you'll change the date to when it was done, and then other things you'll put a date that when it's due, just to remind yourself. So any questions, just let me know.